Just a reminder to our Speculating Wildly About Crime listeners, this is for entertainment purposes only and solely the thoughts and opinions of our team. We do invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Welcome to Speculating Wildly About Crime. I'm Janelle, and today we'll be covering the death of Kenneka Jenkins. This was recommended by listener Stacy Horton. Thank you for sharing this one. You know I love a hotel mystery. I had never heard of this case, and I have so many unanswered questions, so let's dig in. On the evening of September 8th, 2017, Kenneka informed her mother of her plans to celebrate a new position at a nursing home. These plans included bowling and a movie with friends. Around 11:30 p.m., Kenneka borrowed her mom Teresa's car and departed from their home. This marked the final time Teresa would see her daughter alive. Contrary to the plans she'd relayed to her mother, Kenneka and three companions made their way to the Crowne Plaza Chicago O'Hare Hotel in Rosemont, Illinois, where a private gathering was taking place on the ninth floor. They had stopped on the way to pick up alcohol, marijuana, and a Bluetooth speaker. Security camera recordings captured the group's arrival through a side entrance of the hotel around 1:13 a.m. At 1:30 a.m., Kenneka sent what would be her final message to her sister. So this party included around 30 people.
In a
And this
hotel room?
one hotel room. This sounds like absolute chaos. There was a noise complaint recorded at some point in the night. Witnesses observed Kenneka drinking Hennessy quite heavily. During the party, Kenneka's friends shared live videos on Snapchat and Facebook. Now, there's a ton of speculation on these. Some say that they hear someone scream, "Help me," right before the music is turned up. And then some say they hear someone say, "They in there raping that girl." I've watched this video so many times and I don't hear either of these things. I'm not going to play it because it's not going to go well for those not watching on YouTube. But I'm going to stop and show Jamie and get her thoughts. Sounds like the song.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like this
I don't
song. I guess I would have been more concerned because then you played some of the video after and she's calm. Unless she's a cold hearted
there's
person.
no
Hear anybody
so
struggling after that. Now, because you told me that's what to listen for, I did hear it, but then that's why I wanted to hear it a couple of different times. I definitely think if you listen for it, you can hear Help Me, but then if you also continue to listen to the song, that voice sounds the same as the other voice does. You hear Kenneka within a minute later saying, "I'm not drunk. I am having a good time." And nobody's alarmed in the background. There's got to be some wet sleuth out there that knows what that song is. And can we get that audio so that we can play it side by side to see if that is indeed in the beginning of that song?
Another thing to note, I think these were posted all around like the 1:30 a.m. mark, which was crazy to say, but the beginning of this party, because remember, they just got there. You can clearly see there are not 30 people in this room. It did get to that point where they were overflowing into the hallway because they could not fit in the room. When you think about that many people, you got to have at least one good apple that's not going to allow something sinister to happen. You guys go watch the video for yourselves. Let us know what you think, but I am not seeing anything that is leading directly to an assault or attack of any kind.
Not at that point in the night, anyways. I would fully agree.
The group decides to depart the hotel around 3 a.m. Upon reaching the hotel lobby, Kenneka realized she had left her cell phone upstairs. All three of Kenneka's friends returned to the party to retrieve her phone, leaving Kenneka alone for approximately 10 to 20 minutes. Upon returning to the spot where they had left Kenneka, her friends were alarmed to find her missing. They conducted an unsuccessful search throughout the hotel. They asked for help at the front desk and are basically brushed off. Around 4 a.m., they decide to contact Teresa, Kenneka's mom, reporting that they couldn't locate her and had left with her phone. And remember, they had her car, so they drove to Teresa's home to deliver her car so then she could come to the hotel with them. Around 5:30, Teresa arrived at the hotel with Kanika's friends in tow and approached the hotel's front desk seeking assistance. But her requests were denied. She asked to view the security footage or have a security officer examine it to trace her daughter's movements, but was informed by hotel management that only law enforcement had authorization to access the tapes. 7:15 a.m., Teresa contacted the Rosemont Public Safety Department to report her daughter missing. I want to play this for you. It's quite a long call, but also very telling.
911 with the address giver.
Yes, I'm at the Crowne Plaza at O'Hare Airport. And I was calling because my daughter came to a party here last night, a gathering with her friends. And um, now her friends, they said that they left on the front of the hotel and she's not able to be found now. She's 19 years old.
And you said that and you said the Crown Plaza at O'Hare Airport.
And yes, and they said that when her friend was like earlier today, like about 4 o'clock in the morning, because they run the video cameras, they said that they didn't have no camera. But now I came and it was ready. She said that if she heard music, and she asked me that I want to go upstairs, and we went upstairs on the 11th floor, and it was someone came to the room, and she said that she did see my daughter there with a group of girls and a couple of guys. But, at about 2 o'clock, she was busy trying to get reception on her phone.
All right, well then, you know what? Are you sure you don't mean the Crown Plaza at Rosemont?
Yesterday is on third, the Crown Plaza Rosemont. That's exactly where it's at.
Okay,
Sorry.
no, it's okay. And have you spoke? Had you said you spoke with the?
Front desk. I'm sitting outside right in front of the hotel in a parking lot right now.
And they were saying that they haven't seen your daughter since she left, or
No, it's a different set. It's a different new I'm sorry, it's a new shift. And they said that they haven't seen her. Well, of course they wouldn't have seen her. But this is like 3 or 4 in the morning. And I just seen that she was there because I just got the ticket where they entered this hotel. It was at 1:30 PM. So hold on, this part here because this was on the 6th. My daughter wasn't here on the 6th.
okay? And you know, real quick, I'm just gonna see if maybe I'm gonna see if maybe she was here at all. What's your daughter's name?
Her name is Kenneka Jenkins. The room wasn't registering her name. She came with her friends here.
No, and yeah, I just want to verify. Lovely. I actually just came in myself. Probably been at shit for about 45 minutes. So I just want to make sure that maybe she didn't get arrested and sent on her own. You know what I mean? I just want to double check everything.
Well, thank
You're very welcome. But it doesn't look like we had any run-ins with her last night at all. Um, Possible maybe she went to one of her friends' houses, or she's
you. No, actually, because she had my car. She was driving my car. She know I don't like nobody to drive my car because my insurance will not pay for nobody. No one besides her. And her friends kept calling my phone. I kept them to stand here. They stayed out here, but they got me like about 3 something in the morning. I was laying in bed. I just had breast surgery. At breast, I thought my feet had heart cancer. So I was, sedated off medication early. And they telling me, be out here. So once I rejuvenated, strengthened up myself enough to get up and drive out here to look for 'em. Once they brought me my car, I came out right out here. And I came to the hotel and I showed them a picture of her and I asked them if they said, and it was a lady in the lobby. And she heard me ask her at the front desk. And she said it was music. She didn't hear music. She called the one downstairs to report the run and come to find out was the people next door. And when we knocked on the door, that person said that if they see my daughter downstairs, with it was like 4 of them, and it was 4 of them. And she said my daughter, she was with 3 of her friends, but her 3 friends said, which then these kids won't tell the truth. They said that they went upstairs to get
everyone.
her cell phone. And when they went to get her cell phone, she was standing in the lobby, in the front lobby. And then when they came back down, she wasn't there anymore.
I fully understand. Still controlling the registration. The one issue we have, and it's not going to tell you that it's an issue, but she is an adult. She's 19 years old. And,
Ugh.
I mean, as of
Hold
right
on,
now,
she's 19 years old. That's
they,
my daughter. She's 19. Her name is Kenneka Jenkins. K-E-N-N-E-K-A.
oh yeah. No, yeah, but I remember that you told me this was 19. But what I'm saying is that she again, she's only been gone for a couple hours. I don't know, maybe she took you somewhere with one of her friends or something. Because I mean, again, it is only a couple hours since you hadn't seen her, correct? Or since her friend supposedly hadn't seen her.
Correct. Let's say about 3 to 4 hours now. They're there. They told me. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning when they called me.
Yeah. Well, I guess the one that are you looking to file a missing persons report then, or are you
But
just?
my daughter,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I'm so sorry, Deborah. I just want to know, is it possible that maybe they can look at the cameras and see, it's because they send the police out here and gonna look at the cameras and see if, they seen her on their cameras around that time?
I was about to say, even if I did send an officer, it would take a little bit in order, for us to get the camera footage and for us to pass it on to the detectives division.
Okay, okay. So what would you suggest?
Well, again, the only thing I would suggest maybe just give her a couple hours. She could have went somewhere with one of her other friends. I mean, and who knows what other friends are saying is true. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not saying, good tell it don't sound right. I'm a parent. I've been young before. And it's not sounding right. It don't sound right, period. That's why I came out here myself. Because they in there, it sounded like they had been drinking, honestly.
Yeah.
And I asked them, did she drink? And they said she had only 1 cup. But okay, my daughter ain't the type that normally, she can't even take liquor. Her liquor level is just like mine. We can't take liquor. We cannot drink liquor. We take simple liquor, we drunk, honestly.
No, a couple of years.
And I'm like, 1 cup is too much for her, and like I asked them. And then they end up with her beer ball. I pay her beer ball bill every month to make sure my daughter has a ball. If she does a ball, I don't understand why would she leave one beer ball with you all and just go disappear? So
Yeah.
I just had surgery, and she know my predicament.
Oh yeah. So then in that case, what I would recommend, just go home, relax a little bit, give it some time. Of all we know, she very well could be in the room. She could be passed out. Again, you know how it is. You drink it the night before, you get, you know what I mean, whatever else have you. So just give it a couple hours. Maybe and she'll get a hold of you again. I mean, does she know your number?
And she knows
Oh
I'm
my God.
very smart.
Okay, well then, like I said, just give her a couple hours. You know what I mean? Give her some time. Again, maybe she went to one of her other friends' places, or maybe it is still in the room. Just knocked out. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh.
Thank you. Okay, and so how long does it take for me to file a missing person report?
Well, you can file it at any time.
Right fucking hour.
Just give it a little bit of time. If you hadn't heard from her by, I want to say about 10, 11 o'clock, then by all means, give us a call again, come to the station, and we can help you out.
When
Okay,
my shift is over, I call back.
got it for me to come back to you all. They said, no, should I go and strap on me got a missing report?
I think you would, you would, you could try to file it out in Chicago. May tell you to come here, something happened in our town, but I do know that since she lives with, obviously she lives with the city. I think this might actually fall on them. Or at least they'll be able to take the report, and then they'll get in contact with us, and we'll be able to help them out with the best.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter. Whichever one. If I have to come back down here, I'll come back down here. But as long as if we be able to see the link, if I come, okay, I give it to tomorrow. It's 24 hours. After 24 hours, Do you think that they'd be able to see the video camera up today, the surveillance camera
Yes.
for today?
Yes. We'd definitely be able to yes, we'd definitely be able to get footage.
To
Okay,
probably.
All right.
I'll do that. Okay, thank you so
Okay.
much. Okay, okay.
You're very welcome. Have a good day.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Okay, that guy needs a new job.
She asked all the right questions.
When can I file a missing person report? How do I get the surveillance? What
What
station
do
do I call? What do you suggest? And he's like,
Go
you're a
home,
911
relax.
officer. Go home and rest. Why don't you go home, take a bath, pour a glass of wine? What?
At 12:46 p.m., Kenneka is finally allowed to be reported missing, prompting the police to launch their investigation around 1:15 p.m. Initially, hotel staff claimed they had reviewed the security footage without finding anything noteworthy. The police conducted a search of the hotel and surrounding areas with no results. Teresa and the other girls then began going door to door, showing pictures of Kenneka just to see if anyone had seen her. One of them actually pulled a fire alarm with the thought that everyone would run out and they might be able to find her. The hotel, more concerned about disrupting guests than a missing girl, actually called the police on Teresa and the girls. Around 8:30 p.m., the cops were back to address the disruption, and they decided, while we're here, we might as well re-examine the security tapes themselves. A breakthrough occurred around 10 p.m. when this review uncovered footage of Kenneka at approximately 3:20 a.m. stumbling through the hotel lobby hallways. She appeared severely intoxicated, disoriented, and repeatedly colliding with walls. This discovery prompted the police to dispatch a second search team to retrace Kenneka's last known movement. The security footage revealed that Kenneka had entered an elevator, descending to the hotel's lower level. Upon exiting, she staggered down a hallway, then ascended a staircase to another corridor. At one point, she was seen entering a men's bathroom. Kenneka eventually wandered into an unused kitchen undergoing renovation. The final sighting of Kenneka alive was at 3:32 a.m., showing her moving towards the walk-in freezer. This unit consisted of a cooler in front with a second door leading to the freezer. Both the freezer and cooler would have been dark when Jenkins entered, as the light was on the outside. While the video doesn't capture Kenneka entering the freezer, it's believed she opened the door, walked in, and subsequently became disoriented, unable to find her way out. Despite the kitchen being out of service due to renovations, the freezer remained operational. It was being utilized as additional storage for an upcoming restaurant within the hotel. According to a report by the Chicago Tribune, the temperature inside the freezer could plummet to as low as 8 degrees.
What were these police doing? If somebody's reported missing, I don't care what this guy behind the counter says that he saw or didn't see. He's not a police officer. He's not anything. I'm going to look at that surveillance myself, number one. Number two, if I'm going to do a search of the property, I'm going to search the whole fucking property. How did you miss this whole basement area? And then you magically found it. It doesn't sit right to me. Somebody's either lazy or not doing their job or covering something up, or all three are correct. I'm not really quite sure, but unless that guy watching the video was high, there's no way you missed the shit that we're going to see. And shame on you, police officer. It gives me John Benet Ramsey vibes. We searched the whole house and we couldn't find her. And then the second time we went, we found her in 2 seconds.
And props to whoever pulled the fire alarm
Mhm.
at the
Because it
cop.
got the police to come back.
Yeah, they came back to essentially kick out these people who were knocking on doors and pulled the fire alarm. But had that not happened, we might have never seen this footage ever, because it would have been, oh, it was recorded over.
Both case, it would have been recorded over. And maybe when the restaurant opened, how many ever months later, if they would have finally accessed that freezer. And who's to say if she was put there by foul play that somebody would have got her body and threw it in the Chicago River or something before that?
I want to show you guys this video, and I'm just going to talk through what we're actually seeing. We'll drop the link in the show notes if you want to pause and go watch this YouTube video. She is all over this floor, everywhere. There are so many cameras, which is something that we don't often see, but I think it's super helpful in the narrative if you can see the state that she was in. So here we see Kenneka coming out of the elevator on the lower level. She is kind of bobbling into the walls. Now we see her coming up a ramp, like literally leaning into the wall, almost bumping into a wall, coming down the hallway. She's using the wall to continue moving.
Like it's the walls holding her up.
So we're turning the corner. She is really struggling. This is not even about walking straight. This is about just keeping on her feet. It's almost like a pinball game. Then we have another view of her coming down that same hallway, same type of movements, just very back and forth from one side to the other. We see Kenneka entering a kitchen. Now, this is not the kitchen. So now she's out of the kitchen. She looks like she's doing a little better. Wall bump there. And then she kind of falls / grabs onto staircase handle to break her fall.
Looked like she walked away hurt.
This is the men's restroom that she goes into, comes out of the restroom, still very much relying on the wall. So she's going back down the hallway the way that she just came from. So now we're in a different kitchen, and this is the kitchen. We see her walking through, and you can obviously tell that this is an unused space. Nothing is going on in here. It's completely empty. And then this is the point where we don't see her enter the freezer.
Watching that video, I have been in that state before, and I would be really upset if my friends left me that way. However, I also could see where I would walk away from my friends in that state as well. But in no way, shape, or form was she in a shape to be taking care of herself.
No.
Number one. Number two, in no way, shape, or form, again, unless you're high out of your mind, do you watch a video and see somebody walking like that and say, oh, no, there's nothing to see on this video. I know you had a missing girl, but everything's good.
That's why I firmly believe that they didn't even check. But I just wonder what was the impetus that made her get off of the probably lovely couch she was sitting on in this grand lobby and think, I need to go down a floor. Because the floor that she was on, it was
It's like the lower level, right?
administrative area.
Housekeeping maybe keeps their supplies down there or whatever.
Yeah. And so I would hope it occurred to her, this is not where I need to be because there's not a single soul down here but me. But maybe she was just so lost.
Maybe she thought she was going up and it really went down and she got off and she's like, well, this looks a little different, but whatever. Maybe I don't remember.
If she could have just found the elevator to go back up, we would be talking about something else right now. But yes, I agree with you. There's no way somebody checked that footage. It was like, oh, this tracks. Nothing to see here, folks. Kenneka's lifeless body was discovered in the hotel's freezer by a manager of the hotel at 12:25 a.m. on Sunday, September 10th. She was pronounced dead at 12:48 a.m. Kenneka was found lying on her left side with her face down in the corner of this unused freezer. She had one shoe off and a small cut on her foot. Her pants were down around her hips and her top was pulled up. Her pant pocket was inside out and her clothes were filthy, almost as if she might have been dragged. And then here's the short call we have.
301. Everything's up board? Like out there. Oh, yeah. I want to call it. I'm bored. They're covered. Colored up. I book. Shadow book. Going nowhere. Are you going to done? Here we go.
Despite the strange circumstances, the police initially stated that they did not suspect foul play in Kenneka's death. On October 6th of 2017, The Cook County Medical Examiner's Office ruled Kenneka's death accidental due to hypothermia. The autopsy revealed a blood alcohol level of 0.112 and traces of topiramate, an epilepsy and migraine prevention medication not prescribed to her. The combination of alcohol and topiramate could have enhanced the effects and accelerate the onset of hypothermia, which was confirmed by stomach lesions. Brain swelling was noted, but not linked to the cause of death. Medical examiners noted minor abrasions and injuries on her exposed foot and ankle, likely due to the absence of her shoe. Beyond these minor marks, no other significant wounds or markings were observed on her body. Importantly, the autopsy revealed no evidence of a physical altercation or struggle. The lack of defensive wounds or signs of violence supported the hypothesis that Kenneka's death was not the result of foul play. The police report revealed that the hotel room was secured using a fraudulent credit card connected to a Chicago area gang. Despite circulating rumors of foul play, officials maintain that the evidence did not support these allegations. However, inconsistencies remained in the accounts provided by Kenneka's friends regarding the events following the party. Text messages between friends after she went missing showed concern about her intoxication and disappearance, with one friend urging the others to find Kenneka. In 2018, the family's attorney initiated a $50 million lawsuit against the hotel and other parties. He argued that the hotel should have secured this kitchen area. A key point in the lawsuit was the hotel staff's refusal to allow Teresa to view security footage or have a security officer review it when she was searching for her in the first place.
Especially if when they came back later, whoever dude was behind the counter was able to look at it. Why couldn't the guy that was there the first time?
Teresa contended that if the staff had cooperated with her request to examine the tapes, there might have been a chance to locate Kenneka sooner, potentially saving her life. The lawsuit highlighted the hotel's alleged negligence in handling the situation and raised questions about their protocols for guest safety and emergency responses. In late 2023, the lawsuit was settled for $10 million. Court documents revealed that the defendants were found negligent on multiple counts. First, failure to properly secure the unused freezer area and restrict public access. Second, inaction regarding an overcrowded party, 30 people in a room meant for 4. And lastly, inadequately reviewing security camera footage after Kenneka was reported missing.
And these were all against the hotel that the lawsuit was against.
Correct. Various theories have emerged regarding Kenneka's death, despite the official ruling of an accidental death due to hypothermia. Some speculate about hotel involvement, suggesting Kenneka was deliberately lured into the freezer by hotel staff, or she was killed elsewhere and placed in the freezer to stage an accident. Proponents of these theories suggest the hotel might have concealed the truth to avoid legal repercussions for allowing this unauthorized party. One widely discussed theory suggests involvement of Kenneka's friends in her death. Some speculate that her friends may have allowed her to be assaulted and killed at the party, with her body subsequently placed in the freezer. However, security footage contradicts this theory, showing Kenneka entering the kitchen area completely alone. Moreover, the autopsy found no signs of sexual assault. Also, these girls were all over that hotel looking for her, and also all over camera footage looking for her.
From what you're telling me, you have to walk through 2 doors to get to the freezer. So I don't know that I'd walk through one and then walk through another and not say, oh shit, this is really fucking cold. How do I get out of here?
It's also pitch black.
Right. How am I finding that other door? That is where I struggle quite a bit.
There was an emergency button to push, a fail safe if you do get stuck in there. If you couldn't find that button, how did you then go find another door? If I'm going to open one door and there's a pitch black room, I'm definitely not in there. If I do go in there and find another door where it's even darker, I'm not going in there for sure.
Right.
But maybe if the first door had already closed on her, I heard a lot of chatter about maybe that's how she lost her shoe, as it got caught on the door.
Hmm. I could see that.
And that is what prevented her from holding it open. Because if she was in the cooler, I think this would be a much different story.
Yeah, she'd be cold, but I don't think hypothermia would have set in. Does hypothermia cause brain swelling? I just Googled it. No, therapeutic hypothermia, and I know this wasn't therapeutic hypothermia, but go with me, can actually reduce brain swell. So she sat in that freezer for how long? And there's slight brain swelling. We're just going to ignore that. When they say there's no sign of trauma, there's no sign of foul play, her fucking head is swollen. That's head trauma.
Could also equate that to, did you see how many walls she bumped into?
Yeah.
And that's just what we saw on camera. We don't know what happened while she was still in the party. She could have fallen earlier in the night.
She could have, and she was down in that basement area. She could have hit her head on concrete. But I still go back to if hypothermia reduces brain swelling, you really had to fucking plonk your head. But they have to flip flop a lot. Maybe when she went into the cooler and it was dark, she did conk really bad.
Yeah.
That could be. But I also see it as the police could have said, we see no signs of foul play because we don't want to get ourselves in trouble. We're not fully investigating the scene. We're not looking at the footage or not doing a thorough search of the property the first time we were here. So if we just say it was an accidental death, then nobody's going to look into it.
No.
Had this went to a trial, they'd have been fucked.
I'm not letting the police or the hotel staff off the hook for anything on this because there were so many bad moves made.
Those are my troubles that I have, that we didn't think her brain swelling was anything that we should note. And I think the police could have just been being lazy and or trying to cover up the fact that they didn't do a thorough enough job.
Sure.
And I still can't get over going through 2 doors. It just seems like a lot to me. I do still feel like with as many people that were going in and out of this party and they left at 3 when the party wasn't even really started until probably 2 or 2:30. By 3 o'clock, you still have plenty of these people at this party where they're going in and out. So if Kenneka is left downstairs in the lobby, who's to say that a guy didn't walk by and say, "Hey, girl, I've been trying to holler at you all day. Why don't you come talk to me?" And she's like, "Okay." Follows him somewhere, and she's met with foul play somehow.
Nobody else on that footage. We watch her walk all over that level.
Wait, but I'll go back to when you just talked about we saw her hit her head a couple times, and that's all we saw on camera. What if these things happened off camera? And like the footage that we seen wasn't the only footage of her walking around. There's some stuff that wasn't released to the public. And there's plenty of spaces in that hotel that are off camera. And I guess widely known, supposedly, that people that work there let people stay there for free all the time. And so if there was somebody that worked at the hotel that was part of this party or part of this, we're going to call it a cover up, they would have known where the cameras are. They would have known that this freezer's back here, all the things.
You would have to be freaking Harry Potter to not be in any of the camera shots.
Can't make it make sense that she walked all the way in there, passed out to the point where she died. The other thing I was going to bring up, hands down, her body was planted there because of this. I don't think if I go into a cooler or if I go into a freezer, I'm going to start to undress myself. So if her shirt was half off and her pants are around her hips, what was going on?
There's this thing called paradoxical undressing, and it's where people with severe hypothermia remove their clothing, no matter how freezing they are. It's something about the blood rushing to heat itself, and it can make the
Oh, so you feel very hot.
You can go find the crime scene photos of her. I'm not going to show you guys because I don't think it's necessary. They're out there. Her pants, when I say her hips, it's not like she was wearing mom jeans and had her pants way down. It's basically like you just didn't button them and fell over. Her top, which was not much of a shirt, was pulled down. Like that could have happened if she fell.
She's wearing almost like a bra, basically.
I do think it's strange how dirty she was, but this was an unused space. Like, it wasn't clean, it was dirty in there. So it's totally feasible to me that she fell, hurt herself, could not get up, and was crawling on the floor, maybe trying to
Hmm.
find a way out.
Then all of that had to have happened in the cooler because when we saw her in that final frame, she's still done up. Her hair's great. Her outfit's perfect. All of it. She doesn't look dirty.
Yeah, it would have been in the freezer. Again, if you go find the picture, the floor is filthy. So, not a stretch for me.
I haven't seen the crime scene photos, so that makes more sense. Then I go back to what we talked about this whole damn time. I'll start with the 911 officer who didn't put any urgency into it because if this is genuinely what happened and she was so drunk and she walked into this cooler and then into this freezer, when Teresa was there, she had maybe been in there for 3 or 4 hours. I'm not a doctor, I don't know, but I don't think that's long enough for hypothermia to set in to the point of death.
I think definitely more of a chance to give her aid and save her had people listened, but they did not have time for this on this day. It is so unfortunate she was not in her right state of mind. But this drug also.
Yeah, why was that in her system? That rubs me the wrong way too, because I think Teresa said she was never prescribed anything like that.
I wonder if it was almost like a series of unfortunate events where maybe somebody slipped something into her drink and it mixed with the alcohol and just caused almost like an out of body experience. That's how she ended up on this level. That's why she was just exploring everywhere. That's how she ended up in the freezer.
I just thought of something as you were saying that maybe somebody thought they were going to roofie her, but accidentally put this pill in there instead.
I think this has to be a huge, I don't even know if there's an appropriate word for it, but the biggest red X ever in a police department, on the hotel staff, everybody who just really didn't give a damn. I do think it was just an accident. I think there could have been several contributing factors that led to her in there. I don't think it's foul play as in this is the intended and
I still struggle with that. I know it's a big ask of somebody to hide behind cameras or hide security footage. We never saw anybody else on camera, but they only showed us what they wanted us to see. Number one. Number two, that police department already knew they fucked up. So if they saw anything else that didn't make it look like an accidental death, they're probably not going to run to the front of the class and say, look what I found.
oh, see, I think it would be the opposite, where they would love to come full circle and say, this is how it happened. This is why it happened. This is who did it, because that gets the pressure off of them.
Yeah, to an extent, but couldn't you also say, why didn't you catch them earlier? Or at that point, if we know it's a crime, now it might have to go to trial. And so now they're really going to look into everything. And now they're going to say, why didn't you do this search when you were first there? Why didn't you push to have the surveillance looked at? Why didn't you question all 30 people? I hate going on record saying this, but I feel like it's the elephant in the room that needs to be talked about. This is a population of less than 5% of Black people. And we have a 911 officer that was very dismissive. And we have a group of a bunch of juvenile to young adults that are all people of color at a party.
But I also think if there had been a noise complaint and a reason to be able to kick this party out, if it was for a racist connotation, they would have done that in a second.
But the police weren't called to the noise complaint, right? I think maybe somebody that was at the party or somebody that they knew worked at the hotel and let them get away with this fraudulent card. So maybe they went up there to make it look like we're paying attention to our other guests, but was like, hey, just be quiet and we won't fucking say anything again. I'm half and half. I can't get over all those things. It's not quite coincidences stacking up, but the brain swelling gets me. The two doors gets me. The fact that these police didn't rush to do anything. This 911 officer was awful. The people at the front desk were no help. Her friends left her alone. I know we've all been there before, but we can't leave our friends alone when they're in that state. This is like the 15th case we've covered where this has
No,
happened.
if that's a life lesson that you guys take out of this episode, at least leave one friend behind.
Yeah, there's 4 of you. I'm going to go on record as speculation is half and half. I could see it being some sort of foul play. I don't know that she was necessarily raped because there wasn't any sign of sexual abuse. It doesn't sound like, judging how everybody else does their job in Rosemount. I don't know if this autopsy person did their job to the best of their abilities. So maybe there was some sexual trauma that was missed, but we go on what the autopsy said. She had alcohol and a drug in her system. I'm super high. I don't even know if that drug gets you high, actually. I'm super drunk, and this drug made me drunker. Clearly, she was not in her right mind.
It can cause dizziness, disorientation. It probably has a do not mix with alcohol sticker on the bottle.
And we saw it in the videos, right? She definitely was in no shape to be walking, let alone exploring. So could it have happened that way? 100%. Here's the last thing I'll say about it. If the people that did cause harm to her are in a gang, they have guns, they're drug dealers, they're whatever, and you're afraid of them and you're not going to say anything in fear of your life, you might keep a secret. And if you're the one who did it, obviously you're not going to say anything. She could have been beat up after we saw her in the last frame. And then, oh, something happened with the footage and we don't have anything after that time frame. I'm Stretch Armstrong on 2 islands, 2 nights.
I am very curious about how this drug got in her system, but it wouldn't be the first time that something totally unrelated happened earlier in the evening, and then it did contribute to this totally other thing that happened later. So I do think it was an accident. I don't think an invisible man got her into that freezer. And I can only hope that it was very quick, her time in the freezer. When we talk about if police or the hotel staff had acted differently, it could have saved her life, because we know that they did not hold up their end of what they were supposed to do. So for her sake, I hope it was very fast, very peaceful, because I could not imagine how terrifying that would be. I really hate that we even had to speculate wildly.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to our show today. We genuinely appreciate any and all support. We would love if you would please subscribe, like, comment, or download on any of your favorite platforms that you go to for podcasts. Did today's episode leave you with more to say, or have a theory that you didn't discuss, or even a case that you'd love to hear us talk about? Head on over to our Facebook discussion group. You could search SWAC Pod, SWACPOD discussion group, and leave any suggestions, comments, etc. there. To feel a little bit more comfortable via email, we can also be reached at swacpod@gmail.com. That's SWACPOD@gmail.com. Any and all feedback is incredibly helpful to us. And until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and keep speculating wildly.